Millions of gallons of sludge flows from a packing plant into area waterways, and now we're learning what may have gone wrong.
We turn to Steve White, who's been digging into the records. He joins us now live. Steve, in addition to the trail of stuff, literally, there's also, you would say, a paper trail that you've found.
There is, Colleen, and we have been following it. Documents really point to the failure of a dike as the starting point. Hundreds of gallons of wastewater flowing a minute. Fish are dead after sludge flowed out of this Grand Island packing plant. Maybe 2 million gallons of partially treated wastewater, up to 400 gallons a minute flowing. We've reviewed documents from state regulators, a timeline of events. Sometime before 6 a.m. on Saturday, January 6th, plant staff noticed the lagoon dike had failed, and they shut down the plant at 6:45. About an hour later, they contacted the Nebraska Department of Energy and Environment, whose team arrived around noon. The state began collecting samples. It was around this time dump trucks arrived, placing clay in the parking lot to dam the discharge, leading to days of cleanup work. Back to the timeline, state officials went upstream to collect samples, while JBS dammed the lagoon that afternoon. It was during this time they first noticed a fish kill not far away. It mucked up the property around the JBS beef plant and made it to the Wood River, a tributary of the Platte. The head of NDEE tells us that wastewater likely contains ammonia, nitrates, and other material. An email chain from the EPA to state environmental officials does note a possible explanation, saying, quote, inspectors reported erosion issues with the lagoon dike during an earlier site visit, but cause of breach is currently unknown. Work continued Sunday as Nebraska Game and Parks arrived to count fish, while more water samples were taken. By Sunday evening, JBS notified the state an estimated 2 million gallons of wastewater had left the company's property. NTV became aware of the situation and began making calls and sending emails Monday. JBS was first to respond, with the state environmental director calling late Monday afternoon. He tells us the state is not aware of any immediate health risks, but they recommend people stay out of the water. Now, it's important to point out we reached out to the city of Grand Island. They tell us there is no impact on the city's water supply. Those wells are in a different area. There was some concern, actually, if it would affect some electrical lines in that area, but the city also telling us that was not an issue.
Steve White live in Grand Island. Steve, thank you for that report.